Welcome back to NEPA Story. I'm Kylie Montigney, and on today's episode, I'm so excited to welcome Jessica Ives. Jessica is a licensed social worker and local community leader born and raised in NEPA. She's a graduate of Hanover area and wanted to pursue for Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at Wilkes University. Following Wilkes, she worked for a few years in a community mental health and then landed a role at Family Service Association of Northeastern Pennsylvania recently. Shortly after, Jessica started graduate school at Temple University at satellite program at Misericordia University, where she earned her Master of Social Work degree in 2015. Jessica wore many hats at Family Service Association and EPA over the past 13 years and has been recently appointed as CEO. In addition to her role at SA, Jessica serves as Secretary of Board of Directors of Dinners for Kids. She also serves on the Rainbow Alliance and Dress for Success Board of Directors. Additionally, she is at Leadership in Northeast, providing council chair and volunteers for other community events and initiatives, for example, co-chairing the Brownstroke event benefiting the Stewart Library and serving as a chamber ambassador of the Greater Wyoming Valley Chamber of Commerce. Jessica is passionate about women's issues, social economic issues affecting those in NEPA, and benefit and servant leadership. She's a graduate of Leadership Northeast Core Class of 2020 and Identify International and was named 2023 Changemaker by the Greater Wyoming Valley Chamber of Commerce. Jessica is inspired by her son William, who will be 10 this year. She wants to make a positive impact in the community and teach them that everyone can make a difference where they are. Jessica surrounds herself with others who share her passion for community growth, leadership, and is motivated by them to continue to grow and lead the region to a positive direction. I know that was a very long intro, but welcome to the show, Jessica. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you, Kylie. Thanks for having me.
So to kick it off, what can you share what initially inspired you to pursue a career in social work and community leadership? I know you basically share many hats, but kind of share what got you started.
Ever since I was a young kid, I always was involved in some sort of initiative to be involved in the community. I can remember as far back as being in elementary school, volunteering or doing different things in the community. And that led me into high school and college with the same values and beliefs of being involved in different things to help make our region a better place. In high school, I remember Going, thinking back to high school when I took a psychology and sociology class. I was really loving those two classes, and it led me to my bachelor's degree in psychology. And I really loved understanding how people functioned and thought, the way they felt, and how that kind of intersected with how we function in our world and our communities, and which eventually led me to my degree in social work. So no matter where I've been, whether as a student or as a professional, I have always tried to be a active member of the community, and want to give back in a way from where I am at. So that's kind of what led me to social work. It wasn't one specific event or situation, but kind of a culmination of everything and um, how I see the world and what I want to do with my time here.
I'm the same way. I'm a senior in high school currently. So right now I'm taking psychology and all of that stuff, and I always been invested in all of those, like how can people feel like this? Or let's learn about different emotions and why they're feeling like a certain thing.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not a licensed social worker or mental health professional, don't get me wrong, It's always so good to learn more about different things. Maybe it's anxiety, depression, or what leads to different choices that people make. Now, that's something that I absolutely love the last few years, especially after the pandemic started, is to kind of learn about people's actions because there's so many ways you can approach it that many people don't know, even if you're a social worker or you're a licensed professional in this career.
Absolutely. And I just, I applaud you for doing that, being that you are a student and you have started your own initiatives to bring awareness. That's so important. Whereas many years ago, students never paid it. I shouldn't say never paid, but rarely paid attention to mental health and what's affecting everyone externally, and trying to bust some of that stigma that's associated with mental health and other social factors.
No, exactly. I'm not gonna like say everyone, but I know most people in the region still feel that way. Maybe they just like,
Yeah.
oh, it says a feeling, they're just gonna dismiss it, or people just say like, oh, mental health is not a thing, like you shouldn't talk about it, and this really dismiss kind of how they feel it is because you put on maybe a certain face for a lot of people. Maybe you're going through family issues, or a lot of people know who you are, or you want a spotlight. You want to kind of show a lifestyle to help other people, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's kind of the stigma behind maybe social media is that, like, even if they might see positive and uplifting in person or in front of the camera, no one knows exactly what mental health is or how to define it nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to get off with the Family Service Association, so you guys recently announced that you're finally CEO after a couple of years. So how has your time at Family Service Association at NEPA shaped your professional growth and led you to be a CEO?
So I've been with Family Service for a little over 13 years, and my heart and passion lies here within our organization. If you asked me on my first day here if I ever thought I would have been ever appointed as CEO, I would have probably laughed. Although I had huge ambition, that wasn't something that was necessarily at the forefront at the time. But through my passion developing here, I've really become connected to our community, other providers that we work with, and those who we serve to show, to work with them and really advocate and amplify the voices that are maybe sometimes silenced, where we work with a lot of families who have experienced trauma or disconnected from their children for some reason. Um, there may be family conflict or other things going on. And in those experiences that I've had when I started as a case manager in one of our programs through now, I remember all of those experiences and just kind of the culmination of everything. Like it's really brought a lot to my awareness of who I am personally and professionally. And again, I can't think of it as something that is, one thing that really stands out. But just the overall experience of
Mhm.
being at family service, understanding who we serve, and seeing the difference that our staff makes every day is so important. And through those leadership experiences that I've had early on and through now, um, I recognize that as CEO, I hold um, a huge responsibility of making sure the organization is led into the future on a positive path. But I also recognize that every single person in our organization is equipped, want them to be equipped to be able to lead from where they're at to make a positive impact. And it takes all of us as a team to be able to make that impact and do amazing things every single day.
I love
So,
it. Like you guys are honestly doing so many things, and once I saw the post on like Facebook or something that you're like, nominated as CEO, I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Because I know a lot of people were sharing it, like whether it's maybe through you or someone that I have on Facebook or something. I'm just like, oh my gosh. First, of course, somebody's amazing. That's what I absolutely love about NEPA is that everyone supports one another no matter what, and which is amazing. And what the work you guys do is amazing because no
Thank
matter
you.
where a part of it, but you are, there's something always going on. Maybe if it's a family matter, adoption, or whatever it may be, there's always something going on. And you may think like, oh my gosh, like NEPA is a kind of like a small maybe like towns and everything. Like it happens more than you know in this town, no matter if you're a close knit of a town, everyone
Mhm.
knows who you are or something different. Like no matter where you are in the US, like there's always, something involving family that we don't know of.
Yeah, and I that's a good thing to remember too, is that a lot of people think that, they hear about a certain issue on TV or maybe on social media and they think, oh, that's not happening here in my community. I can guarantee you that it is and that it eventually affects us all. And, it's important to remember that um, a lot of people around us, even if it's not something that's directly affecting us, there are people close to you, whether friends, acquaintances, coworkers, even family, you may not know completely that are affected by certain things, whether it be substance use disorder or mental health or trauma. Um, and those are things just to remember that everyone's going through something and we're more close to it than we actually realize sometimes. So
Mhm.
we just need to be aware of it.
And even if we think that no one is dealing with it, not a lot of people like to talk about it, no matter if you're
Mhm.
close with them or not. Because sometimes people oftentimes feel embarrassed or they just kind of don't feel the need to kind of say anything because they might feel maybe embarrassed or they might think like someone might change your perspective just based off the situation on whatever they're going through. And that's something that is completely normal and you don't have to tell everyone what you're going through. And
Yeah,
that is something that, even if it's a family matter, it can turn to legal issues and some other things. I'm sure you know more of the process than I do personally. But even if we live in a stable, amazing area of like amazing people in this area, we don't know what they're going through, whether it's a family matter or a personal matter, even if we're close with them or not. Even if we live in an area where everyone comes together for a tragedy or something, there's always something that we don't know about a certain person, no matter if you've known them for maybe like 5 years or they're a family member. There's always something about a person that you will forever not know.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you never know.
So with your organization, so what changes or improvements have you seen in NEPA during your career that make you proud or stand out to you?
So I think that it's a broad question, or I have a broad answer for that. I've seen a lot of changes, although I still think that, you know, there's could be a lot of work done. But I remember back to just being a freshman in college, and that was around, it was 20 or 2005. And I've been on many different tours throughout Wilkes-Barre and obviously just walking around Wilkes-Barre and NEPA in general, and seeing how the area has grown so much just from that time
Mhm.
of small businesses, larger businesses, bigger corporations, economic growth, and then also overall more awareness of um, the community concerns that we do have, including poverty and homelessness, and how that affects really the overall um, kind of temperature of the area. And what I mean by that is when you have um, more poverty or you have more more homelessness and other issues that it all kind of relates to each other. So you're going to see an increase in substance use, in mental health issues, because if people aren't having their basic needs met, then they're not able to manage anything else that's going on, including mental and physical health. And it all kind of interplays together. With that being said, although there is a lot of work that could be done, some positive change is that there are so many different resources out there that could be utilized by individuals and a lot of our organizations that work together to be able to produce some change. Like I said, there's still a lot of work to be done, but just over the past 20 years or so, I've seen a lot of improvement in economic and social sectors in our community.
There is literally so many things going on that I can't keep track. But, there's always something going on here in NEP, whether it's substance abuse or homelessness and everything. Like, there are amazing resources in the area, like New Roots Recovery Center down in Wilkes-Barre by the prison. I know when people hear prison, like, oh, why is it by a prison? But if you guys check out New Roots, I totally recommend. It's an amazing organization. Got to stop by there about 2 years ago. It's amazing. But there's so many resources, especially like New Roots, that can help people maybe in recovery, homelessness, people in the military or post-military life, you're going through depression or using drugs or whatever it may be. They provide all these resources. But in recent years, there's a lot of homelessness in Wilkes-Barre or Scranton, even if it's maybe a safe area and like stable living conditions, the house prices may be going up for certain people, but some people can't afford it. That lead to homelessness mostly in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Is that something that you guys see often, or what do you guys kind of, overseeing that?
Yeah, there has been an increase, not just regionally here, but across the nation. And there's always been a homeless and houseless issue. However, it seems like there's been a huge increase since the pandemic.
Mhm.
And there has been an increase, like with everything else, increase in rent and other living costs. And so that has produced a tremendous strain on families. And, I cited before about anyone being, affected by different issues throughout their life or currently, we're all just maybe a couple of maybe one paycheck or a couple paychecks away from experiencing some of these same things. So it's very close to us because, we can all be there too. Um, and I think that's why it's so important to pay attention to that it affects so many different people. So yeah, that's something we definitely see a lot here in our organization and those that I'm involved with. And we do our best to be able to support um, the homeless population with the resources to be able to get them back on their feet and help them in whatever way we can.
I love it. So the last thing I have to ask you is like what's next for you and your amazing work in the community?
So I hope to stay on, the same path that I've been on. Obviously focusing on the great work that we do here at Family Service Association and moving forward. One of the things that I really value about our organization is that we do what we can with what we have. And that's a very important philosophy to, I think, our organization, but to myself as well. And I think about recently, our receptionist here at Family Service called up to me and asked me if we had any men's winter coats. And it's because someone came to the door and had recently left incarceration, and he didn't have a coat, and it was winter. And she knew at that moment that she had to do something. And we were lucky. We had some men's winter coats here on site, and we were able to give him a winter coat and some other things that he needed. And that just reminds me of that the staff here at Family Service, as well as myself, we do what we can when we have it and when we can do it, to make it happen. And I think that's something that I just use in my personal life and professional life to be able to say that as long as I'm able to, I'm going to show up and do the work and with what's important to me. So my plan is to continue to lead family service into the future to meet the needs of the community and continue being active in the community personally to be able to give back and be involved in whatever capacity that I can.
I love it. So, like, with all of that, like, for a man to show up on your doorstep and to say, like, I need a coat, I'm literally just get out, got put out in the cold, living on the streets, and I need something. That is so powerful. If I was in that position, I'd be like, just come stay here. Like, I don't want you to live in the cold because my grandfather is actually homeless in this area. So I'm like, it just hits home whenever I see someone
Yeah,
homeless. I'm just like, I just want to take them home. Because I always feel so bad just because it's
yeah,
like, whenever you see someone homeless, like you don't know if it's a good or bad thing or whether the person
mhm,
has maybe weapons on them or is a good person. Like not all homeless people are bad in a way.
right.
So with all of that, I'm just like, like if someone showed up, I'd be like, take everything, money, clothes. I'm like, just take everything because I always feel bad. And I'm like, even if I don't do something or have the resources, I'm just like, I always feel so bad. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what can I do? And reach out to people. But I really appreciate all the hard work and everything you're doing because there's like so many things happening in the area. Maybe it's like homelessness, so absolutely need help with.
I really appreciate you highlighting the importance of the work that we do and everything that I value and bringing light to so many different things in the work you do.
Thank you so much. That means the world. And I love everything you're doing. Every time I see something on the social media, I'm like, girl, this is busyness. Okay. But I will put all of her links to your organization, social media, and all that below if you guys want to check everything out. I totally recommend doing so whenever you possibly get the chance. But thank you everyone for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on. And I know I'm gonna say this again, but thank you for all the amazing and hard work you're doing. It is making such a difference and really appreciate all the work you do.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So thank you everyone again. Make sure to like, subscribe, and review, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. And